What is up, everybody? My name is Ali G, and welcome to yet again another episode of my Rick and Morty reviews, my dude. Really happy to bring another Rick and Morty review to you guys. In this video, we're going to be talking about Rick and Morty Season 3, Episode 4, Vindicators 3, The Return of Worldender. That's right, guys. We're going to be talking about the 4th episode of Rick and Morty, along with the 3rd episode of Rick and Morty Season 3. That's right, because last time when Pickle Rick episode aired, which is Season 3, Episode 3 of Rick and Morty, I actually missed my review for that episode, being that I was coming back from Florida, so I'm going to talk about Pickle Rick in this video, besides the fact that I missed it last time. So this is going to be a Season 3, Episode 4, and Episode 3 review. But we're going to talk about Episode 4 first, being that that's the episode that just aired today. It is currently August 14th, and I cannot wait to talk about this episode with you guys. So, without further ado, let's begin our review. So basically what happened in this episode is it was legit a Avengers spoof. It was supposed to be a version of the Avengers that was like 10 times more badass and 10 times more like audacious and rambunctious, and it was awesome. I liked it a lot. It was really cool. And like the episode starts out with just, Rick and Morty regular antics, and then it's like, oh, the Vindicators are calling, and Morty's like, yo, I need to go see the Vindicators. And Rick hates the Vindicators because it's like, Rick hates everyone type thing, and he's like, oh, they pretend special when really they aren't special, yada yada yada. So throughout the episode, there seems to be a lot of Rick and Morty tension between them. Morty's like, I like the Vindicators, don't fuck this up for me, I just want to have fun for one time, stop being a dick. And he's like, they're my heroes. And then Rick has like a moment and he's like, oh shit, okay, fine, I see how it is, bitch. So then when Rick hears that, he gets drunk at night, and then the next day he makes this entire saw trap for the Vindicators. The episode is called The Return of Worldender, and it may be the word Return of Worldender, but right when the episode begins, when they enter the area where Worldender is supposed to be, it turns out Rick fucking demolished Worldender, and his ass is fucking grass, dude. That man is gone. So Worldender died in the very beginning, and then Rick was doing a kind of a Saw spoof or whatever. He was doing a Saw spoof from like the famous film series Saw with Jigsaw, like, I want to play a game, motherfucker, that type of thing. He was doing a Saw spoof, and everyone had to do these craps, and over time they all started dying, and they all started getting pissed at each other, and they all started learning the lesson that none of them are really special, and they're not all really heroes, and they're all just like dicks that don't matter in the world or whatever like that. And then at the end of the episode, Rick kind of confesses to Morty that sometimes when he's drunk, he gets a little emotional and is like, oh, I care for you, Morty, yada, 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 that type of thing. So, he puts Morty on the platform, it goes down. I don't really know why it went down. Maybe it was supposed to go down to anyone that went there. Or maybe it's because Morty is the same size as Noob, so maybe that's why the platform went down and it accepted him and didn't, like, kill them all. Or maybe it was never meant to kill them all, or maybe it was just, he expected them to find out type of thing. But yeah, I liked this episode. It was not a bad episode at all. I do think that this is definitely the worst episode of Season 3, if I had to say. I don't want to be that guy, but this is, in my opinion, my least favorite out of Season 3. It's not a horrible episode, I will not say that. It definitely was not a bad episode, but definitely my least favorite out of the Season 3 premiere, the Rick Shank Redemption, Season 3, Episode 2, Rick Mancing the Stone, which was the Mad Max parody episode, or Season 3, Episode 3, which was Pickle Rick, which was outstanding, if I do say so myself. This episode was the Saw spoof, as I just said, and personally, I like when they do, like, spoofs of movies, kind of, and I do like when they're self-aware of the fact that they're doing that, but I feel like it's not Rick and Morty that's the problem. I just feel like, Saw in general, I was just kind of like, okay, whatever. I do like the concept, though. I do like the concept. I did like the episode. It was not bad. It fit very well for what they were doing. But Saw, for me, it's just, I've seen that done before. If anyone here watches The Venture Brothers, they did a Saw episode in The Venture Brothers. So, like, seeing this, I was just like, okay, here we go again. We're doing a Saw spinoff. So you know, I feel like I've just gone down this road before, and I feel like I've seen this kind of thing. The Saw spinoff in the Venture Brothers was based on Saw 1. This Saw spinoff is more based on the current Saws, where it's a numerous amount of people, and they're all, like, meant to do, like, games and shit. So, this isn't Saw 1, where it's just 2 people back and forth talking and stuff. This was Saw 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and the new one that's coming out, Jigsaw, which is gonna be ass. But, regardless of that, it was a good episode. I really liked the quarrel between Rick and Morty. I really liked that Rick kind of confessed to Morty that, you know, he does love him and he doesn't despise him or anything, and Morty feels like he does and he doesn't care about anyone, and Morty's just kind of sick of him repeating the same thing and kind of ruining everything and teaching him that he is kind of nothing in the world and he means absolutely nothing in the universe and he's just pointless in life. I feel like Rick is right with that, but at the same time, I feel like Morty's just like, why do you have to ruin everything, Rick? Why can't you just at least let me have fun and let me pretend like I mean something in the world, you know? But Rick just wants to keep making a point, and it keeps pissing Morty off. And, you know, I feel like at the end of the episode, you know, Morty was kind of rectifying that with, you know, Rick being like, oh, I love you, Morty, yada, yada, yada. But I really like the fact that it was Noob at the end. I really like the fact that it was that. I mean, to be honest, that doesn't necessarily mean what Rick said doesn't apply, you know? Because, like, yeah, Morty went down there, and yeah, he wasn't the one that was supposed to go down there. It was supposed to be Noob. So, you know, like, Rick still said, oh, Morty, I think it's because, you know, I care for you and I don't want the Vindicators to take you away and yada, yada, yada. I think that still applies, because, you know, he said that while he wasn't drunk, you know? He actually meant that, and that's, you know, that's still a thing. So, you know, we did get a little bit of development with that. We all kind of knew it low-key, but it's finally, you know, it's cool to see Rick come out of his shell and that type of thing. The best part about this episode, though, was the Vindicators, like, their quarrels and stuff. The Vindicators fighting each other, and the Vindicators, like, you know, like, seeing, like, the backstory with them, and how the Ghost Train dude was sleeping with Galaxy Girl, and then Million Ant-Man was like, don't touch her, and I was like, that was hilarious. Can I just say, though, the main dude, I'm sorry, I do not remember his name, but the main dude of the Vindicators, the white guy that was like the cliche, like, Star-Lord ripoff, he was actually voiced by Christian Slater, which is the dad on Mr. Robot, so I really found that to be cool. I really like the fact that it was voiced by that guy. But one thing I do want to mention about this episode that personally was just like the most like bleh thing about this episode to me was the Logic appearance. I found out that someone tweeted at me, or someone, not at me, but someone tweeted that Logic was going to be on this episode of Rick and Morty, and I was like, holy shit, Logic's going to be the feature. Now, for those of you that don't know, for those of you that casually watch Rick and Morty and don't necessarily know this, you don't have to know this, but, you know, I know it, Rick and Morty, not every single episode, but almost every single episode of Rick and Morty has a very special guest star. There's always a guest star in almost every single Rick and Morty episode. You know, Keegan-Michael Key from Key and Peele was the testicle on season 2 episode 1. Christian Slater was the main dude in this episode. John Oliver, he was, you know, the episode where they went inside the homeless dude's body and made an amusing park? John Oliver was that guy that was the germ or whatever in that guy's body. He was a guest star as well. Keith David was the president of the United States in the episode with all the heads flying around, and the Get Swifty episode. Keith David was the president in that episode, you know, so it's definitely a show that's like, you know, they have features, but, like, they don't really milk the features, you know? It's just, like, they're there just because they can use them. And I really like that they do that. I love the fact that I found out after season 1 and 2 that this was a thing. Like, I didn't know about it. I wasn't like, who's the feature on this episode? You know, have you ever seen the show Empire, where they fucking milked the features? I don't even think Empire's still on. But, you know, Empire, where it was like, oh, we're gonna have Snoop Dogg in this episode. Oh, Drake's gonna be on this episode. Drake was never on Empire, but you get the point. Like, they're like, oh, I don't want people to watch Rick and Morty just because someone's on Rick and Morty, you know? They get people that they feel will fit the part and they feel will add comedy to the show, and I really like like the fact that they do that, and they you know, recognize other people that can be guest stars on Rick and Morty, along with the new characters that are going to be on Rick and Morty. And I really enjoy that they do that. It really makes me happy to see stuff like that. So, you know, when I saw that Logic was going to be on Rick and Morty, I was like, holy shit, my man Logic's going to be on Rick and Morty. I know he's such a fan. I'm really happy for him, and yada yada yada. So as a Logic fan, I'm like, yay. And as a Rick and Morty fan, I'm like, yay yay. So when I saw Logic on Rick and Morty play as Logic, I was like, okay, yay, but that's not what I wanted. I didn't want Logic to be Logic in Rick and Morty. I wanted Logic to be a random character within Rick and Morty, the Rick and Morty episode, because that's how they usually go. I don't want, like, I'm not saying that they pulled an Empire and they were like, oh, watch this episode because Logic's gonna be on it. No, I think they just did it because, you know, people like Logic, people know Logic's a fan of Rick and Morty, and, you know, it would just be cool for him to be on the episode type thing. And I'm okay with that, but at the same time, it's like, I feel like it was a lost opportunity. I feel like in a future episode, Logic could have really been someone in the show. I feel like he could have been really funny as a character and all that stuff. But, you know, it's done. It's done now. It didn't make me mad. It just made me like, oh, okay, that's a missed opportunity. You know, I wasn't like, oh, you fucked up, Justin Roiland. What the fuck did you do? It was cool. It was cool, but I feel like, you know, that now that this is a thing, like, he can't come back. If he comes back, he's gonna have to come back as Logic. So, and he's probably not gonna come back. But, as I said, doesn't bother me. Just wish that, you know, it wasn't like this. Just wish it was something else. I feel like he could have been utilized as a actual guest star on the show, as an actual character throughout the episode, rather than just a little cameo at the end, just for a quick joke, which was a funny little joke. But, you know, regardless, wish he could have had more involvement in the actual episode itself. So, with that said, that was my Season 3, Episode 4 review of Rick and Morty. I have to say, this episode was a 7.8 out of 10. This was probably, not trying to say it in a bad way, but just trying to say it as a factual term. This was probably, in my opinion, the worst episode of Season 3 so far. Not bad, because, you know, I gave it a 7.8 out of 10. It's definitely not a bad episode. Just saying, you know, if the Mad Max episode was good, the fucking Pickle Rick was good, and the Season 3 premiere was, like, amazing. So I just think this one was just like, okay, whatever type thing. Now, as I said in the beginning of the video, I did not get to do my Pickle Rick review. I never got to make my Pickle Rick review on that episode. So, for those of you that want to stay and watch the video and enjoyed my Season 3 Episode 4 review, then I'm going to talk about Season 3 Episode 3 right now, the Pickle Rick episode, which was fucking amazing. Oh my god, dude. Oh my god. I loved Season 3, Episode 3 of Pickle Rick. I was not expecting it to be that good, bro. Like, there were some episodes that I loved, but that episode was just perfection, dude. I loved it. It was awesome. Rick was fighting people. He was killing them. It has to, like, there's gore in Rick and Morty, but, like, seeing so many humans get killed and seeing Rick, like, turn into, like, the rat suit, that was awesome. I feel like half the hype for me was because these were kind of the, like Pickle Rick, in terms of episodes that we knew about beforehand and kind of stuff that we knew about before Rick and Morty Season 3 actually became a thing. Like, Pickle Rick was one of those episodes. Like, we saw, like, from the Comic-Con sketch that Pickle Rick was going to be a thing. We saw in the Season 3 Episode 2 trailer, or Season 3 trailer, excuse me, that Pickle Rick was going to be a thing. So, like, this episode was really hyped for me. It started out great, where it's like, poor Morty, I'm a pickle! Like, that's just funny. And it was actually a deep episode story-wise, and it actually went into Rick's character when he went to therapy at the end, so I really like that. I know that a lot of you have already seen Season 3, Episode 3, but just for those that haven't, I'm going to give a tiny little rundown of basically what happened in the entire episode. So right at the beginning, Morty, Beth, and Summer are getting ready to go to a therapist, you know, for their family, and then Rick is sitting right there on the table as a pickle, tells Morty to flip over the pickle. I'm a fucking pickle, Morty! So then, you know, one thing leads to another, and Beth takes the syringe that's supposed to heal Rick and turn him back into a human. So it turns out Rick turned himself into a pickle so he wouldn't go to therapy. And then one thing leads to another. Rick falls in the sewer, turns himself into, a rat killing machine by getting like rat parts and making a rat suit out of it. And when he does that, he becomes a fucking ghost because he goes up a sewer drain and ends up in a completely different area than home. It turns out he is now in what seems to be like, I want to say a Chinese embassy or something of that nature. I doubt it's like that. I doubt it's actually that, but it's definitely some sketchy place with a lot of security guards that want to shoot Rick. So Rick is just a pickle walking around in a rat suit, and he was he made this like mechanism of, he made this laser gun which like his ammunition was AA batteries, and whenever he put a battery in there it would like shoot a laser. It was fucking cool as hell. And then the people in the building that had the guns and stuff, like the main dude was like, fuck, we gotta get this man, and they go in this safe and they get Jaguar, which is the new character that they showed. You know what, knowing Jaguar, I'm pretty sure Jaguar was a guest character as well. So let me actually look up that. I'm almost 100% Jaguar was a guest character. But as I was saying, not a guest character, excuse me. I'm pretty sure Jaguar was a guest appearance on the show, and I really want to see who Jaguar was, because I'm pretty like a character like, oh, Jaguar was Danny. Oh, what? Danny Trejo was oh my god, that is crazy. I didn't know that guy was Jaguar. That makes a lot of sense. Okay, for those of you that don't know who I'm talking about, he's the guy from the Machete series. If you know the Machete series, he's from that. I'm trying to think of what other movies he's from. But if you know the main dude from the Machete series, he's from that, and he is I feel like he's a pretty known actor, at least in that field. So seeing him on this episode was really cool. I'm really glad that he was the feature on that episode. That's really cool to learn. That's really cool to know. But anyways, the fight between Jaguar and Pickle Rick was probably one of the best fights in fucking Rick and Morty. One of the best fights I've ever seen in the entire show. If I had to pick one-on-one fights, definitely up there. It's definitely up there with one of the best one-on-one fights in the entire series, bro. Awesome fight, awesome like voice acting on both of their parts, awesome dialogue between them, awesome banter in the middle of the battle. It's like, Pickle Man, I don't want to do this, and oh my god, I found that so cool. And later on in the episode, they both band together so they can both kill the people in the house and all the security guards and shit, and they both escape. Jaguar's cool, Rick's cool, everything's Gucci, and then Rick finally goes to therapy. And when Rick goes to therapy, that's when shit gets deep as fuck, because Rick is like, basically he goes on like a little rant on like why he doesn't like anything and stuff, and why he didn't go to therapy. And basically what he meant by his little rant was, I don't care for anything. I don't want people telling me what to do. I am the best. I want to decide what I want to do. No, nothing else matters. I just want to focus on myself. I am the only thing that matters to me. And, the woman that was talking to Rick was like, oh, okay, you say that, but ultimately you are like upset with yourself, or not necessarily upset with yourself, but you are scared because you think like you're the greatest person in the world, but at the same time you're human and you have like emotions that you can't control, and everything is up to you. You may be the greatest being in the world, but at the same time you're like you still decide your own fate, and you rather decide your own fate and make that fate to fuck around and enjoy yourself, rather to actually get up off your ass and tolerate some things. You rather, like the lady said, it's like, I don't like to wipe my ass or brush my teeth, but I still go to work every day. They're boring things. Some people can deal with them, and some people can just die. And Rick seems to be that kind of person that's more on the just die side. Rick has had signs of being little teeny tiny bit suicidal in some ways. Not necessarily saying he's suicidal, but like there have been times where he's like, I want to fucking die, or something like that. So maybe ultimately that's kind of what she meant. Like you're you just don't know what your path is in life, and you can't deal with the fact that you kind of have to work in this universe. And Rick was just astonished at that, and he couldn't really respond back because she was right, and he realized that that's kind of what he is. He is kind of the smartest person in the world, and he can't fathom how he makes decisions when, you know, almost every decision always has a bad outcome, and he doesn't know what he personally wants, and he doesn't want to work, and he's just one of those people that, as she said, doesn't like wiping their ass and brushing their teeth, you know? He's one of those guys. He likes doing whatever the fuck he wants to do. So I really like the fact that she kind of digged into Rick's character like that, because this entire series, everyone's kind of pissed off at Rick, but no one's really been able to get under his skin. So seeing her get under his skin was very satisfying. I really enjoyed that about the episode, and I really enjoyed the Pickle Rick episode in general. The fight scenes were amazing. The character design for Pickle Rick itself was amazing. Everything was awesome about the episode. Jaguar, the guest appearance, was awesome. And episode 4 was awesome as well, guys. Episode 4 is awesome as well. Episode 3, if I had to give it a number rating, I would give that episode a 9.3 out of 10, approximately. Somewhere around 9.2, 9.3. Very good episode. Very good episode. Before I was saying I like the episode more than Season 3, Episode 1. I don't know if I like it more than Season 3, Episode 1, but it is damn near close, dude. That shit was awesome. So, final verdict, episode 3 gets a 9.3 out of 10, and, episode 4 gets a 7.9 out of 10. That is my official Rick and Morty review for Season 3, Episode 3, and Season 3, Episode 4 of Rick and Morty. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please tell me in the comments down below what you thought about Season 3, Episode 4 of Rick and Morty, Vindicators 3, The Return of Worldmongler, and please tell me what you thought about Season 3, Episode 3 of Rick and Morty, Pickle Rick. I really enjoyed both these episodes, and I would love to hear your thoughts on them. God damn it, I love stuttering. Isn't that fucking amazing, Allie? You're the stuttering god. Okay, click that subscribe button down below if you want to see more of those Rick and Morty reviews, and don't forget to click that like button down below if you enjoyed my episode 4 and episode 3 review. Tell me in the comments down below what you thought about both the episodes. My name is Ali G, and I cannot wait to see you guys for the next Rick and Morty video. Deuces!